call to order our annual meeting of the Richfield Bloomington Watershed Management Organization. And we'll start off, I know we have quite a big crew, but I think since we don't often have things all together, it's still good to do introductions. So I am Ben Whalen from the Richfield City Council, and today the RBWMO chair. And I will, to make things quick, maybe we can each call on the next person to introduce themselves. So I'll ask Maria to go next.
Hi everyone, Maria, the mayor of Richfield. Nice to see everyone again, and I will pass it to Mary Supple.
Good evening, everyone. As the mayor said, I'm Mary Supple, and I'm the at-large council member, and I will pass it to Council Member Hayford O'Leary.
Thank you, Sean Hayford O'Leary. I'm the Ward 2 council member for Richfield, and I will pass it to Simon.
Good evening, everybody. Simon Troutman, Ward 1, Richfield council member. And I will pass it to Director Asher. Have you gone yet?
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Director Kristen Asher for the City of Richfield. Nice to see everybody. I am going to pass it off to Councilmember Patrick Martin.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Patrick Martin, I'm the council member for District 4 in Bloomington, which is kind of the east end of town here. I'll send it over to Councilmember Coulter.
Excuse me. Good evening, folks. I'm Nathan Coulter, council member at large for the city of Bloomington. I will send it over to Councilmember Sean Nelson. You're on mute, Sean.
Somebody had to do it. Sorry about that. I took the bullet for everyone here. So Sean Nelson, District 2 in the southwest corner of Bloomington. And I not seeing any other council members, so I'll send it over to Mayor Tim Bussey.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Bussey. I'm the mayor of the city of Bloomington. I'll send it over to Bloomington City Manager and Richfield resident, Jamie Verbrugge.
I'm waving at Simon from my house. We're in the same neighborhood over here. So Councilmember Troutman, good to see you. Good to see everybody else. I'm Jamie. I'm the city manager. And I will send it over to Carl Keel.
Thank you, Jamie. I'm Carl Keel. I'm the Public Works Director in Bloomington. And I'll send it over to Manager Rodriguez.
Thank you. I'm Katie Rodriguez, City Manager for Richfield, and I'll introduce Joe Powers, our City Engineer.
Good evening, everyone. Joe Powers, City Engineer with the City of Richfield, and I will pass it off to City Engineer Julie Long.
Hi, I'm Julie Long, City Engineer for Bloomington, a little redundant, and I'll pass it off to Brian Greedle.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see you all again, virtually, that is. So again, Brian Greedle, City of Bloomington. I am the Water Resources Manager within the Engineering Division in Public Works, and I've currently holding the Assistant Director position with the RBWMO, so working with non-council member Patrick Martin to facilitate RBWMO related activities. And I will keep it on the Bloomington side and introduce Steve Gurney.
Hi, everybody. Steve Gurney, Water Resources Engineer with the City of Bloomington. And I will introduce Jack.
Hello, all. I'm Jack Distel, the Water Resources Specialist for the City of Bloomington, and helping out with the RBWMO. And I will pass it to Patrick Martin, the other one.
I'm Patrick Martin, Water Resource Specialist for the City of Richfield, currently the Executive Director for the WMO, and I will pass it to Mike Peterson.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Peterson. I'm the Assistant Utility Superintendent for the City of Richfield. And who has left to go? Has Steve Christopher gone yet?
Steve Christopher, the Board Conservationist with the Minnesota Board of Water and Soil Resources.
Is that everybody, Patrick?
Actually, if I could
Uh,
introduce our executive analyst, Blanca Martinez Gavina, and also our assistant, Kelly Wynn.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We will keep things moving. Next up on the agenda would be if someone would like to make a motion to approve the minutes from March 2nd, 2020, our last annual meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I did not see who any of that was. If you could announce when you make motions for virtually, that would be helpful.
Absolutely. So the motion was made by Mayor Regan Gonzalez.
And second from Councilmember Patrick Martin.
Thank you. And if Analyst Martinez Gavina, if you could please take the roll call vote.
Yes, and please be patient with me in terms of some of the last names. Mayor Regan Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Supple.
Aye.
Councilmember Trotman.
Aye.
Councilmember Hafer O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
Mayor Tim Boozy.
Aye.
Councilmember Bowman. Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Beloga. Councilmember Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Carter. And Councilmember Coulter.
Aye.
And we have, I was not keeping track of Bloomington, so we have, I believe 8 ayes.
Thank you. The minutes have been approved. Next, if we could get a motion to approve our agenda for tonight.
Councilmember Supple, I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second, Coulter.
All right, moved by Supple and seconded by Coulter. Analyst Martinez Gavina, if you could take the roll call vote again.
Mayor Regan Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Supple.
Aye.
Councilmember Trotman.
Aye.
Councilmember Hafer O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
Mayor Tim Boozy.
Aye.
Councilmember Loman. Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Beloga. Councilmember Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Carter. And Councilmember Coulter.
Aye.
We have 9 ayes.
Thank you. The agenda has been approved. Next, we'll move on to electing officers for this year. And so we will take motions for, we switch off which city represents each position. So we'll take motions for all 4 to nominate each of the 4 and then 1 vote to approve the whole slate. But I would take any nominations for a chair from Bloomington.
I'll nominate Councilmember Patrick Martin.
I will second that nomination.
All right, thank you. Any other nominations, or else I would take nominations for a vice chair from Richfield.
I'll nominate Councilmember Hafer O'Leary.
Member Troutman, I will second that nomination. We'd like to see our newest colleagues' resume get furnished if we can.
All right, thank you. And then nominations for a secretary from Richfield.
All right, I will nominate Councilmember Troutman. Wait, have you been on already, Councilmember Troutman?
I think at some point I held the vice chair position at several years ago.
All right, so I'll nominate Councilmember Troutman.
Supple, I'll second.
Thank you. And then a nomination for a treasurer from Bloomington.
I'll nominate Councilmember Coulter.
Second, Nelson.
All right. So then for whoever's taking minutes, I was not tracking all of the nominations. Would someone like to make a motion that we approve Councilmember Martin for chair, Councilmember Hayford O'Leary for vice, Councilmember Troutman for secretary, and Councilmember Coulter for treasurer, that we do that with one vote?
Bussey, so moved.
Second, Martin.
Thank you. Moved by Bussey, second by Martin. Executive Analyst Martinez-Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Yes, and I also want to clarify that the first vote on the minutes was 9 ayes instead of 8. Mayor Reagan Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Supple.
Aye.
Councilmember Troutman.
Aye.
Councilmember Hayford O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
Mayor Boosie.
Aye.
Councilmember Lohman. Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Beloga. Councilmember Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Carter. And Councilmember Coulter.
Aye.
We have 9 ayes.
Thank you. The motion to elect officers has passed. And then next we have to approve we will be deciding about approving our 2021 staff appointments. This would be for the second of a 2-year term. And it would be to continue the terms of Executive Director Patrick Martin and Assistant Executive Director Brian Greedle. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve their appointments?
Councilmember Troutman, so moved.
Second, Mayor Reagan Gonzalez.
All right, it's been moved by Councilmember Troutman and seconded by Mayor Reagan Gonzalez. Executive Analyst Martinez-Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Supple.
Aye.
Councilmember Troutman.
Aye.
Councilmember Hayford O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
Mayor Bussey.
Aye.
Councilmember Lohman. Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Beloga. Councilmember Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Carter. And Councilmember Coulter.
Aye.
We have 9 ayes.
Thank you. We have approved our staff appointments. And with that, I will pass it to Executive Director Martin for the 2020 Executive Director's Report.
All right, thank you. Let me just get my screen shared here. Can everyone see that all right? All right. So, welcome to the RBWML annual meeting for 2021, or for the year 2020. So we have Steve Christopher here from the Board of Water and Soil Resources, who introduced himself earlier. He's the Metro Region Board Conservationist. He'll be here for any additional support that we might need on some of our activities going forward. So And just to give a brief background description, in 1982, the Minnesota legislature adopted legislation requiring that all metropolitan land area be within a water management organization. And because there was land area, both Richfield and Bloomington, that wasn't already occupied by a watershed district like 9 Mile or Minnehaha Creek, the establishment of the WMO is sought by both cities. So in 1984, the final agreement and bylaws were adopted, an organization was formed. The Richfield Bloomington watershed area comprises that portion of Richfield on the slide here and some of eastern Bloomington. The total area is about 7.5 square miles. So for our report here, the staff of the WMO continues to be the staff of each member city, handling drainage and surface water issues within our respective boundaries. Both cities act as the local government unit for the Wetland Conservation Act. And both Bloomington and Richfield have a stormwater utility that funds expenses for routine activities related to stormwater and stormwater management. And because all the costs are split between the two cities, the WMO has no annual expenditures as an organization. So at our technical advisory committee, it's again comprised of all of city staff, where we meet to discuss different approaches to stormwater and redevelopment projects, review local activities and other enforcement topics. And they've all been good, productive meetings. And we both have community advisory commissions, which both cities have identified here. These commissions are engaged when water resource projects within the boundaries of the WMO are underway. Pretty straightforward there. So for our 2020 activity, continued working with Board of Water and Soil Resources, Hennepin County, and other watershed districts and management organizations on the watershed-based implementation funding program, which I think Brian is going to get to a little bit later or in greater detail. And the WMO hosted a Smart Salt training that provided both Richfield and Bloomington staff an opportunity to learn about application rates, new maintenance methods, environmental effects of salt, and that kind of thing. The training was hosted virtually by Bloomington, and I think it had about 30 attendees. We continued with the Adopt a Drain program, raising awareness about stormwater pollution and the difference residents can make in their area for water quality. And we also continued with storm and surface water quality monitoring. So these are the water bodies that have been monitored annually since 2010. We continue to monitor them in order to produce trend analysis on phosphorus and total suspended solids and that kind of thing. All of the ponds are monitored with grab samples monthly during the summer months, and except for Smith Park Pond, which is also part of the Hennepin County Wetland Health Evaluation Program. So here we've just got a quick snapshot of the Smith Park Pond, just to kind of give a quick update on how that's looking. As you can see in the graph, just a slight bump up in total phosphorus in 2020. And staff continue to maintain the website with meeting information and different notes as necessary, along with other educational opportunities for those that live in the WMO. Wood Lake staff at the Nature Center let me know that they're still working to reduce the goldfish populations that were first noticed in 2014. However, due to COVID-19, their pond study programs were a bit limited and no predator fish were stocked this year. Observational surveys and a few cast net attempts kind of confirmed their suspicions of high numbers of goldfish. But their goal this year is to get some more grant funding to continue that work. And the Christian Park Pond dredging project activity for that in 2020 was a lot of planning and prepping for the work to start here early in 2021. And then for different activity in the WMO, there were no Wetland Conservation Act enforcement actions in the WMO in 2020. There were 9 erosion control inspection sites and 11 new single-family homes that required permits. So for 2021, again, kind of continuing to build on the work that we laid out in 2020, including the Wood Lake Goldfish stuff, Christian Park pond dredging, like I mentioned before, which should be wrapping up hopefully this spring, along with some restoration work that's associated with that. Obviously, our water quality monitoring and website maintenance, that kind of thing. Staff are going to continue to work with the Minnesota Wildlife Refuge Friends to implement our youth education programming. And again, with our going to continue to promote the Adopt a Dream program, which really does, I think, a lot of good work engaging with residents on the difference they can make. And with that, I think I would turn it over to Brian for business items.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate it. Good evening. So Patrick, if you could bump me up one slide.
Yep.
I'm just going to cover in a little bit more detail some of the things that we've been working on over the last year. So a lot of what we've been doing focuses around this watershed-based funding. So we talked a little bit about this last year. In 2018, the Board of Water and Soil Resources piloted this watershed-based funding program, where they allocated essentially about $1 million to Hennepin County, and through a series of meetings with the eligible entities within the county. We agreed to dedicate 10% of that funding off the top to a countywide chloride program. And so as this effort has gone on, it's kind of become known as the Hennepin County Chloride Initiative. And so this initiative is geared more towards private applicators and property managers, more so than road authorities. Next slide. So in 2019, to gain a better understanding of what private applicators' experiences and practices were, the group conducted some research, specifically targeting the private applicators. And so we used an online survey. We had different interviews with individual applicators. And back in the good old days when we could actually do tabling events, we were active at a couple of different events as well. And the results of that research were presented last year. In 2020 and moving into 2021, this group is continuing to move forward. So we are working on the development of a chloride management plan template for property managers and owners. And we're also working on participating in the Parker's Lake Chloride Project. So Parker's Lake is a lake that's impaired for chloride that's in Plymouth. It's just west of 494 on County Road 6, for those of you familiar with the West Metro. And the one of the things about the watershed that drains to Parker's Lake is it's quite variable. So with a lot of different land uses in it, from single family homes, different townhome associations, commercial and industrial properties. So a lot of different land uses within the watershed. And so the overall goal of looking at this is to compile that land use data and evaluate it for different chloride concentrations. Overall, we're working to develop kind of a consensus on these chloride sources and what the potential projects could be to reduce those chloride concentrations. So with that information, then we would be able to replicate that in areas, other areas of Hennepin County and beyond. And so there are other agencies and consultants and interested groups working on this. And so our goal is to collaborate with them on this effort to help guide future chloride management decisions. Next slide, Patrick. So continuing with the pilot watershed-based funding from fiscal year 2018-2019, the RBWMO then pooled their funds with the Lower Minnesota River Watershed District, 9 Mile Creek Watershed District, and the Riley Purgatory Bluff Creek Watershed District, thereby forming what we call the Minnesota River Basin Group. We had about, between all of us, between the four water agencies, we had about $200,000 available through that funding. And so we developed a grant program to implement different practices that reduce chloride uses by applicators. And so we rolled out that grant program this summer and are currently reviewing grant applications and helping fund some work through to businesses or local governments to help reduce the chloride impacts on our environment. Next one. So moving up to 2020 here, as I mentioned, the fiscal year 18-19 watershed-based funding was a pilot program, and so Bowser worked, with a whole bunch of folks, kind of taking comment and trying to figure out how to best manage that. And so the watershed-based implementation funding was then rolled out here in 2020. With one of the bigger changes based on feedback from the pilot program was the way that the funding was distributed. So instead of being distributed on a countywide scale, it was distributed on a watershed scale. And so during the summer here of 2020, staff participated in a series of meetings that were facilitated by Steve and Bowser staff, ultimately to help us determine which projects would be funded by this initiative. So like project ranking amongst the eligible agencies. So the RBWMO gained support from the other agencies and Bowser to move forward with our youth education program partnership with the Minnesota Valley Refuge Friends that we discussed briefly last year. And so we did get a $30,000 grant from this initiative to make that project go forward. And so more recently, staff has been working with Bowser to complete the next steps in the process for getting that grant secured, including the budget request, which was completed here in early January, and then getting our work plan and things in line. I think that just went in today, Steve. So we can get the paperwork taken care of, so we can actually get this program out there. Next one. So this partnership with Minnesota Valley Refuge Friends ultimately looks to use their experience upon building a watershed education curriculum for 4th and 5th grade students. Overall, it's basically designed to be delivered over 5 once-a-week classroom sessions with a field trip to the Minnesota Wildlife Refuge to conclude the program and essentially kind of tie all the lessons that the students have learned over the previous 5 weeks. So, as you might imagine, both Bloomington and Richfield schools have been pretty busy managing distance learning and all the other impacts that they've had to work with as a result of the pandemic. But most recently, Jack Distel, who's also on with us tonight, has been working with the administration staff from the Bloomington summer school curriculum in an effort to get this curriculum implemented as part of their summer school programming, as they're looking for additional opportunities to get kids outside. So we are looking at potentially getting up to 200 students through the summer school program here this year, and then would be looking at an additional 200 students through this program. We're currently anticipating probably the spring of 2022 for that to happen. Next slide. Education was talked about as a pretty high priority topic for RBWMO. We are a fully developed watershed, urban watershed. So stormwater is fairly important to maintaining the quality of the water bodies within the watershed. And so through 2020, we did move forward with keeping up with the Adopt a Drain program. We also have the Wood Lake Nature Center that we work with, and then pushing this education curriculum forward. So we're continuing to work towards youth education related to watershed and stormwater management. Next one, Patrick. Quick update on the Adopt a Drain program. So this program is administered by Hamline University, and it's an online program where residents can go and sign up to adopt a storm drain in their neighborhood. Overall, we had 58 new drains that were adopted in 2020 within the RBWMO for a grand total of 154. And this program has generated a lot of interest and works well as an educational tool for people to understand, what goes in the storm drain shows up in somebody's backyard in that little local pond or water body. So with that, I know I ran through it pretty quick, so I'd be happy to take any questions if anybody has questions. All right. Hearing none, Patrick, I'm happy to move on.
Then yeah, that's all that we have, I believe. Just the public notice, and I think that's it.
We need the annual report, consideration of approval for the annual report as well.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. With no other questions, we'll move on to consideration to approve the 2020 annual report. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the annual report?
Troutman, so moved.
Bussey, second.
All right, it's been moved by Councilmember Troutman and seconded by Mayor Bussey. Executive Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Supple.
Aye.
Councilmember Troutman.
Aye.
Councilmember Hayford O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
Mayor Bussey.
Aye.
Councilmember Lohman. Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Beloga. Councilmember Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Carter. Councilmember Coulter.
Aye.
We have 9 ayes.
All right, thank you. The annual report has been approved. Next, is the public notice. Did staff have, I see we have a slide. Did staff have more to say about the public notice?
This is Brian. So yeah, the public notice is something that we publish just on an annual basis to inform the public of the RBWMO, what our what our charge is, who's available, and how to get in touch with us.
All right, thank you. There be a motion to approve this notice for publication in the Bloomington and Richfield Sun Current?
Supple, so moved.
Hayford O'Leary, second.
All right, it's been moved by Councilmember Supple, seconded by Councilmember Hayford O'Leary. Executive Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Supple.
Aye.
Councilmember Troutman.
Aye.
Councilmember Hayford O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
Mayor Bussey.
Aye.
Councilmember Lohman. Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Beloga. Councilmember Martin,
Aye.
Councilmember Carter, and Councilmember Coulter.
Aye.
We have 9 ayes.
All right, thank you. The public notice has been approved. The last item on the agenda is about our insurance. Did staff have anything to add about that? Looks the same as last year.
Yeah, so insurance will stay the same as last year. We did get a small rebate. I think it was about $300 total in 2020. But that's facilitated through the League of Minnesota Cities.
And I don't believe there is any motion to make related to that, correct?
That's correct, yes.
All right. Is there any other comments? Otherwise, I would take a motion to adjourn. We've reached the end of our agenda.
So moved, Coulter.
Second, Martin.
All right. It's been moved by Councilmember Coulter and seconded by Councilmember Martin. Executive Analyst Martinez-Cavina, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Reagan Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Supple.
Aye.
Councilmember Troutman.
Aye.
Councilmember Hayford O'Leary.
Aye.
Councilmember Whalen.
Aye.
Mayor Boozy.
Aye.
Councilmember Lohman. Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Beloga. Councilmember Martin.
Aye.
Councilmember Carter. And Councilmember Coulter.
Aye.
We have 9 ayes.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone. We will see you next year.